This roof box from the Swedish manufacturer Calix looks a little bit strange. It doesn't look like a normal roof box. And the question is, why does it look like this, and is it any good? This is my review of the Calix Aero Loader after owning it for almost 4 years. So just to give some sort of history to the shape, there was a professor in the southern parts of Sweden that was going on a ski trip, and he was packing up his roof box and getting the family and everything in the car, and then his neighbor came over, who apparently is an aerodynamic expert or an engineer or something like that, who told him, hey, you should flip your roof box the other way because it's more aerodynamic. It's going to reduce the drag on his Tesla Model 3. And he tried it out, and after he came back from the ski trip, he started looking at the data and did some comparisons and saw that he had 16.4% lower consumption with his roof box turned, well, the wrong way or the other way around compared to when he had it facing the correct way. And this story got picked up by a few different magazines on the internet. Tesla Club Sweden put out an article about it, and people started flipping the roof boxes for lower consumption. But pretty quickly, both the Swedish and Norwegian road authorities came out, as well as roof box manufacturers came out and said, no, don't do that. It's not safe because they're not built to be placed, well, mounted, reversed. And the reason it lowers the consumption is that if you think of a plane wing or anything else that's kind of aerodynamic, like a droplet falling from the sky, you get, like, the air hits it and it kind of falls off smoothly, as opposed to like piercing a hole through the air and causing a bunch of turbulence. So in essence, it just creates less drag. So after, I think about a year after this whole thing came out with the guy who turned his normal roof box around, Calix released this. It's called the Aero Loader. It was released in January of 2021, and I ordered one as soon as they were available. I initially had it on my Tesla Model 3, now I have it on my Tesla Model Y, and there are a few differences that makes it more or less suitable depending on which model you have. And I think this applies to a lot of other electric cars, or normal cars too for that matter, because there are some design choices that, at least for my use case with this particular car, are questionable and creates a not optimal ownership experience. So let's have a closer look. So you've already seen the shape and kind of how it's mounted on the car. It comes pretty far forward, and you can see, depending on your seating position, you can see a little bit of this flopping around in the top of your peripheral vision. I think it was more pronounced on the Model 3 than it is on my Model Y. You can open it from both sides. So that was the wrong keys. I'm just going to open it and we'll have a look inside. Now I have some skis in here, but you have a decent amount of packing storage. It is mounted with Calix's quick release system. It has some claws that grip the roof racks, just like this. And you mount them in these little slits that are in the roof box itself. You push the claws in and you turn this knob, and there is some, how do you call it, like a moment key. Is that what you say in English? I have no bloody idea. But when you turn it enough, it starts clicking because you've applied enough force. These work for me maybe, I don't know, 40% of the time. Most of the time they don't click, and I just tighten them to a rough estimate of where they will stay on. The closing mechanisms take quite a lot of space, I think at least, so it's easy for a pair of skis to come too far back to start hitting the locking mechanism. You have these as well at the top that take up some space as well. And I gotta say, I'm not a roof box expert to any extent. I've had a few in my life. This is just one of them, but I think this one feels kind of flimsy. Like the plastic is very soft. You can see. The other day was we had really strong winds here, like storm winds, upwards of 30 meters per second. And when I opened this, because I've been out cross-country skiing, it just the wind grabbed it from underneath, and the whole lid portion just kind of warped into a different shape. It was really strange. And that flimsiness also depends. I mean, if you see it from your seating position, this part is kind of wiggling up and down all the time in your peripheral vision. It can be a little bit annoying. There is a black and white variant, or there's one black and one white variant. I have the black one, which is piano black. It scratches really easily. Mine is kind of scuffed up. I don't know if it comes across on camera, but lots of little scratches from me carrying it in and out of my storage, mounting it and just moving it around. It's kind of tapered towards the back. It's both lower and, well, it's on both dimensions, so it kind of shrinks in both dimensions as we go back, which again comes back to the aerodynamic part of the appeal for this roof box. This is, to me, the biggest design flaw with the Calix Aero Loader. I had it on my Model 3 where this wasn't an issue because the trunk is simply placed further back and it has a smaller, it's not like a crocodile mouth, it just opens a smaller lid so you can open it fully. But with the Model Y and other kind of hatchback-esque trunks, this is as far as it will go. I've pushed the roof box as far forward as I can within the slits using the mounting system, and this is as far as it can get. You can use like T-mount bars and you can get a few extra centimeters so you can open the trunk a little bit more. But I actually emailed Calix about this a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago, and I was like, hey, I had it on my Model 3, worked perfectly, now I got a Model Y and this thing is really bugging me. What can I do? And they were like, oh, you know, just saw longer slits. So they basically recommended that I saw in my roof box to be able to push the roof box further forward. I haven't tried that, it doesn't feel safe. Maybe eventually one day I'll do it, but where I'm at personally is that I'm kind of shopping around for a new roof box because I want something that's long enough to hold my cross-country skis that are pretty long because I'm a tall guy, but also allows me to open the trunk all the way. Because just look at this. Typically, if I have the roof box on to transport skis. Usually I don't go alone. I'm typically ski touring. We're in avalanche terrain, you know, we have all the gear. Everything is stashed back here. Everyone's ski boots and backpacks and everything. And like you have to kind of crawl in almost and like you hit your head. And if it's a bit dim or dark outside as well, like you're kind of limited in that sense. And it's just so annoying. Like it sounds like a small thing, but let's say you have something big you have to put in here. Maybe you went to IKEA and got a new couch or something. There are big boxes you need to get in. Well, maybe this is going to be in the way, so you have to remove the roof box, which just doesn't make sense to me. So for that, I think that's the sole reason for me that I'm shopping around for a new one. And then coming back to like the usability of the roof box itself, I think there are two more things that I forgot to mention. One of them is that the locking mechanisms, they work just fine. I haven't had that much trouble with them, but as you can see here, the like plastic cover has been torn off at some point. And I emailed Calix about this as well, and they said, I was like, oh, can I get a replacement for this? Because I figured I could just pop a replacement on there or something. But I need to send the roof box to them. They need to change out the entire cylinder, and that means new keys. So I guess the cylinder is on both sides, which is just an overkill operation. I'll just show you what it looks like on the other side, because it's covered well. I mean, it's a Swedish company. They're used to the climate we have here, but this is what it's supposed to look like. There's a cover, and it's kind of easy to plop on and off. This is how I typically get up to do stuff in the roof box. I just step on here, grab the roof rack. But as you can see here, the strap system here is, oddly enough, it's placed kind of far in. So you're losing a lot of width when it comes to storing stuff in the roof box, if you want to strap them down. And also, like, this is made out of metal. And when I extend it all the way, because I'm putting skis in there, I typically put it to the side. And like this is very sharp, very metally, and I just feel like, oh, it's gonna crack or scratch my roof or something like that, which is just a minor inconvenience. Let's see if I can tighten this with one hand. Almost. And we, of course, have to talk about the strongest selling point for this roof box. I mean, if you think it's pretty or not, I think it's an acquired taste. When I first put it on my Model 3, I was like, this looks really odd. It looks like the one of the aliens from the movie Aliens, or Alien, I think, or like one of those busker, as we say in Swedish, that old men have, that headwear thing. But Consumtion is the biggest one, like reducing aerodynamic drag, and by doing that, allowing you to go faster in winter with the roof box. I haven't done any measurements yet. I'm trying to line up so I can compare the Calix Aero Loader 1 to the recently released Calix Aero Loader 2 that has a slightly different design. I think it's a bit shorter, might work better with the trunk, and like a quote-unquote normal roof box as well. And of course putting a roof, not a roof box, what do you call those? You put on the back, a back box that a lot of people use just to reduce the drag and everything. But I think for me, I'm gonna keep shopping for a new one. Maybe Aero Loader 2 is the way to go for me. But if you already have a roof box, should you really replace it with this? I think if you have a Model Y or like a wide hatchback situation like I do, don't do it. Like, it's so annoying to not be able to fully open your trunk and have complete access to your storage. That's just me. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't, but I think that's one of the biggest considerations to make. And then there's styling. Some people want the roof box to match the car, or you have specific needs. Maybe you don't have as long skis as I have, then you can get a shorter one, but it looks kind of weird. It's a balance of aesthetics, functionality, pricing, aerodynamic, consumption, and all of those things. And as I said that, I realized I forgot to mention this box costs about 11,000 Swedish crowns as of today. So that's approximately 1,000 euros or $1,000 US. Some discrepancies there, but in the ballpark. But I also think it's important to remember that a roof box is a utility. It's a tool for something. I use it to transport skis because I ski a lot. Has it done the job for me? Absolutely. Have I had any issues with it? No, except for like the mounting ratchets not clicking in place and the fact that I can't access the trunk as much as I want to. Let me know if you want to have more questions about the Aero Loader, because there aren't a lot of reviews about this particular product out there, and not a lot of other aerodynamic alternatives as far as roof boxes go for electric vehicles. And if there are any specific models of roof boxes you want me to test this against in terms of consumption and noise, let me know in the comments. This has been my review of the Swedish-made Calix Aero Loader roof box, aerodynamic, specifically built for electric cars, but apparently not for the Tesla Model Y. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and hopefully I'll see you in a future video.